Hi everyone, good evening. So today let's begin with the first chapter of Enterprise Information Systems, which talks about business process automation. So the first thing that should come to your mind now is what exactly is a business process? In the first place, what is a business process? Then we will look at the automation part of it. So, a business process is any process which involves accomplishing a specific organizational goal. So, it's a set of activities that you perform in order to accomplish a specific organizational goal. So, I begin a company to say manufacture a product. Now, I will be selling this product also, correct? That's how I'll be making my money. So, when I manufacture the product, I need to procure raw material and I will need to pay those vendors for that raw material. Post that, post manufacturing, I will have to sell the product, I will have to receive cash from customers. So, procurement to pay, order to cash, these become my core business processes. This is why I set up my company in order to accomplish these. So, these are the operational or the core business processes. Now, whenever money gets involved, because everything is in terms of money and everything is done by people. So, people have to be involved in any business. So, what about hiring the right people? What about handling the cash? This is where finance comes in, HR comes in. So, these are the supporting processes. So, my company is not set up just to hire people nor to deal in cash. It is set up to manufacture a product and sell that product. But it also needs these finance functions and HR functions. So, these become the backing processes, the supporting processes. Alright, there is a third category. Now that defines where my company is going. So, am I going to expand into a different market? What are the strategies I'm going to follow? What is my 5 year plan, my 10-year plan? All these come into play. And what is my budget for a year? How am I going to handle the money? What am I going to do? These decisions need to come from the top level of the management. So these are the management processes. So we have broadly three processes in any business process. So sorry, three categories of any business process, which are the operational or the core processes, the supporting processes, and the management processes. Now that we know what a business process is, we also need to know what business process automation is. You all know the title is self explanatory. Automation involves technology which should enable a business process. So, if I'm doing something manually currently, anytime I use an information system, any technology to enable that process so that minimum manual intervention is involved, that is called business process automation. But can all processes be automated? No. Some need not be automated, some cannot be automated. So there it is always important to identify where exactly this automation is required. Now guys, slightly deviating, never try and remember acronyms where points are involved. Alright. So the minute you do that, it is always easy that in the exam you might slip up and then you lose the entire content because you don't know the content properly, you only remember an acronym. Try always to understand the content. Try to, like, you yourself come up with what could possibly be the points in that particular topic, and there will be no need for acronyms in the first place. All right, coming back, so where exactly is this automation required? So let's take an example to understand if we ourselves will try to determine if that particular process needs to be automated or not. So in my company, I will, assuming I've started my own company, and in my company, currently there are about 1,000 employees. All right, a little ambitious, but let's go with that. So I have 1,000 employees, but the attendance system right now is manual. So there is a security who sits at the gate, and each time a person comes in, the security looks at the clock behind him, sees the time, notes that person's name, notes the time. That person has to sign in that next to their name. This is the attendance process. Now, at the end of the day, also in the evening, the security only notes down when the last person for the day leaves, and then the security will take that register, and at every month end he submits it to the finance team, and the finance team will take note of the number of days for each person. There is one or two people who sit down and do this activity only, where they count the number of working days that a particular employee has attended for all the 1,000 employees. Based on that, they compute the number of working days for payroll processing. All right. Now, this process, I think that it can be automated. Why? Because firstly, it involves extremely high volume of tasks, correct? And it is all repetitive in nature. As per the first point in my list, this is satisfied. Why? Because 1,000 people doing the same thing. The security has to do the same thing for all the 1,000 people. He has to write down the name of each person, and they will sign against it and go. So this involves a very high volume. Secondly, it involves does it involve multiple people? No, not exactly, because there is only one security that I have. But what if that security goes on a lunch break or a tea break and someone comes in at that time? What if he simply just gets up and walks out for some time and someone comes in at that time? They can always cheat and write a different time and walk in. That is always a possibility. So that is another pain point that I have. So that I will quote as a reason for automating this process. Thirdly, is this time sensitive? Well, not as much as in a say an online banking or a railway ticket, where it is truly time sensitive. Because when money is involved, we want to know instantly how much has been debited, how much has been credited. All of that we want to know, and even railway tickets and all of it, that the flight has to leave at that time means it has to leave at that time. Otherwise there is huge costs involved, extremely angry passengers will be waiting, so those are extremely time sensitive. But in this case, for me, it is time sensitive. An employee will come at it exactly at 8 a.m., and if a bunch of say 1,000 employees come at exactly 8 a.m., so when by the time I record the time for everyone, it is simply humanly not possible for the security to record for everybody at 8 a.m. So some guy might just walk in at 8:15, but his time will also be put as 8 a.m. when it should be 8:15, and that guy should be penalized for that time difference, correct? All these cannot be possible as long as this is a manual process. Fourth, audit trail. Tomorrow my auditors will come and ask me on what basis you paid this particular person, 31 days of salary, 30 days of salary, what basis? And I will have to give them register after register, and I'll have to show that, okay, this is the security who does this process. All these. Then they will check whether the security in the first place was present on all those days. Otherwise, who was doing the recording? What was happening? So all these cannot be given accurately. They will ultimately have to go on trust that, okay, this is a process that is working properly. There will always be that seed of doubt of errors as long as manual intervention is involved. Fifth point, does it have a significant impact on other process? Of course. Time process only determines the payroll process. Based on time data only, payroll is processed, and salary is paid to all the employees. So all my 5 points are satisfied, right? Right. So now we need to look at what are the steps which are involved in business process automation. So how do I implement a particular BPA? So let's take up the steps involved in implementing BPA in my next video. Thanks a lot for watching so far, guys, and please do let me know if you want me to cover any other specific topic that you find to be particularly challenging, complicated or difficult. So do let me know in the comments below. Thanks a lot.